Hi, my name is Deborah R Culver, and I'm the author of the poem, Your Mother is Always With You, and I thought I'd read it to you. Your mother is always with you. She's the whisper of leaves as you walk down the street. She's the smell of certain foods you remember, flowers you pick, the fragrance of life itself. She's the cool hand on your brow when you're not feeling well. She's your breath on the air in a cold winter's day. She is the sound of rain that lulls you to sleep, the colors of a rainbow. She is Christmas morning. She lives inside your laughter. She's the place you came from, your first home. She's the map you follow with every step you take. She's your first love, your first friend, even your first enemy. But nothing on earth can separate you. Not time, not space, not even death. I lost my mom at a young age. I was only 23, first married for about 4 months when she passed away at the age of 45 on Christmas Eve Day in 1985. There were years that as you grow up, your mom's your mom. And then in the teenage years, you get a bit of angst going. Never had an argument with my mom, but had, ill will towards trying to, when she would lay down the law about certain things, as most kids do. But then she became my best friend. And I only had about 4 years of that beautiful relationship with her until she was gone. And they were too very short a time and too short a years to have that. And I miss her dearly. Her name is Joann L. Force. My maiden name is Force, like in the Air Force, or May the Force be with you, which was interesting at school in the 70s. But she died from a long, hard bout of breast cancer back in the day when we weren't quite as aware of women's health and feminine cancers and things as we are now today. We're very proactive now, and they have made great strides in the medicine used to treat cancers. Back then, it was kind of like throw everything but the kitchen sink at you, and if you survived chemo, great. If not, we're sorry, And during her chemo and radiation treatments, she could barely eat anything because anything would come back up. And back then you didn't have the internet or people to really ask, and I was young trying to help her and not knowing what to ask or what to do. And so she was suffering with that. She got into remission in time, a couple months before my wedding, which was wonderful to have her there. But then about 4 months after we got married, my husband and I moved in with my parents so that I could help take care of her. And she was sent home via hospice, and not knowing what that meant, and so busy and tired and exhausted from trying to help her, I didn't know that it meant end of life, or that it could mean that. I don't know if my other family members knew or not, but I didn't know. I really thought my mom was going to go into remission again and live with us a long, long time. But the morning of Christmas Eve came, and my mom had woken up. In the morning she hadn't woken up, was having hard labored breathing, and my dad had called the doctor, and he sent me to the store. As I've been so busy, hadn't bought anything for Christmas Eve, which is very special for us. We celebrate Jesus' birthday, always had been since I was a little kid. 1962 is when I was born. And then Christmas Day was always about gift giving, which was mirroring God's gift to us of his son. But, and it was also my mom's favorite time of the year. And so I went to the store and was shopping, and with all the Christmas songs playing, I felt keenly her absence, because we would go shopping all the time together. And I was missing her even more. And when I got back, there was all these cars in our parking lot, and including the doctor's vehicle. And so I just figured that they were helping Mom, and that, my brothers and stuff had come home and the like, And when I came in, everybody was like around the perimeter of our very large dining room with a family of 7 and any guests. We had to have a big one. And I only realized now, looking back, that I interrupted a prayer, because they all looked up at me and no one said a word. And me, one trip Susie, with all the bags in my arms, I dropped them and ran into the living room where my mother was, and she had passed away. I think she waited till I was gone, because I wouldn't have been able to let her go. And so it was very hard. And it was hard for all of us because of Christmas being her favorite holiday. And she and my dad made Christmas special and let us know what the real meaning of Christmas was. Even when we were little, believing in Santa Claus, we also knew what Christmas was really about. And but I know now that she got a best Christmas gift that anybody could get, was to meet her Savior on Christmas. And so I knew where she was, and she was happy, and she was out of pain, and just looking over us and waiting for us when we all get up there. And so shortly after she died, I was able to write this poem. I was standing in the room that she died in. We didn't have that house for long, and that's when I remember writing it in 1986. And then this past year, in 2024, we lost our dad, Gary K. Force, on the 14th of November. And although he had remarried and was very happy with, his second wife, he still cried like a baby when he thought of my mom. And I know that they should have never been parted. They were soulmates and married young, and that if she hadn't passed, they would have still been married today, And so that was 39 years after my mom passed away that he passed away. And because I've always kind of lived far away from home, because he lived in New Jersey, I lived in Pennsylvania, now I lived in Colorado, I always would be talking to him either by video chat or email or texting or phone. And because I haven't seen his body, or we haven't spread his ashes yet, it still feels like I could just pick up the phone and talk to him. It doesn't feel like he's gone. Just the way your mother is always with you, so is your father. I have a poem for him ruminating in my mind, heart, and soul that I will be creating soon as the Lord gives me a way to put everything that I have written about him and for him into more of a poem form. Right now it's really long. There's so many memories you have of your loved ones. And I was surprised how this poem went viral around the world without me knowing. In the early days of Facebook, I had created a Facebook page and I had posted my poem, and it said by Deborah R Culver, and hadn't thought anything of it. In the 2000s, I had deactivated that page and created a new page because I was having trouble with hackers, and just forgot about that page. And in 2018, I was sitting in Ephrata, Pennsylvania, before I moved back out here to Colorado. reading my poem on my computer, which is what I read it off for you now. And I thought to myself, well, everything stays in cyberspace. Maybe I can find that post. I thought it would be neat to be able to find it, And so, not knowing how to search, and I know things are hard to search on Facebook, so I went in Google and typed the title. And I was shocked and surprised to find thousands of links about my poem. And all of them said author unknown. And here someone had shared my poem off of the Facebook page and hadn't included my name. They maybe thought that I had just posted it and added my name as the poster, not the author. So I got a hold of Facebook and reactivated my account, and I got my copyright. And this was just a couple months before COVID hit. And then I used all of the pandemic time to contact each one of those thousands of links. And half of them were selling my poem on items. Anything you could put a poem on, it was on. Some of them were beautiful, and I loved them, but I contacted them all to let them know that I was the author, and if they were going to continue to sell, they'd need to put my name on it and also go into a royalties contract. Well, all but 2 of them agreed, and I have actually 3 people now that have permission to sell items with my poem on, and so I get a small royalty check from them, which is great. I'm thankful for anything. God is my provider and always has been. And the rest just, didn't know that I was the author, and everybody was gracious and added my information. 2 writers and poets and public speakers. I can't think of their names off the top of my head right now. We're using my poem. They also do seminars around the country and the world for bereavement, and they were using my poem as an example of how to express your grief, and encouraging others to put their own thoughts into the poem and make it their own. And so some people have some alternate versions that are out there, and have added like a whole bunch of emotions, things to it. But I think it's better to let your heart, feel those things as you're reading the poem. They're all beautiful, what they've done. So they've all corrected them, and the 2 ladies have posted on their websites that I'm the author, and they've been very helpful since this is kind of opens up some golden gates for me as far as publishing. And one publisher actually thought the copywritten material was a manuscript, which I am writing the story of my life. And originally it was going to be called Hitting Rock Bottom, Coming to the End of Self, and Now I'm Standing on the Rock, which for me, rock bottom was my now ex-husband telling me we're getting a divorce, and how that turned my life around and brought me back to the Lord. But the mistake by the publishing company inspired me to have a different title, which will be Your Mother is Always With You, Our Story, because it's not just my story, it's the story of my parents and my siblings, all 4 younger brothers than me. And in the process of writing that, and in the past couple years, I'm going to have to do another 1/3 of the book because so much has happened in my life, and how God has brought me through it all and been there for me. I live in Denver, Colorado, and there's a lot of ambulance sounds, so that was that in the background. Sorry. So I have a couple, contacts when I'm ready to publish the book, to let them read the manuscript and see if they want to publish it. I also have other projects that are in the works. I have other material that's out there on Facebook. Some are poems, some are actually lyrics, but can be considered poems for songs that are out there. So I'm also going to make a collection of my poems, my short stories, and songs by Deborah R Culver eventually. And I have a couple other projects that I've been working on over the years. Some are more developed than others. One would be a novel called Sufferance Journals. Another two are more science fiction. And a fourth one, losing count, is a romance novel. So I'm not all in one genre. The Sufferance Journal would be more kind of back in the day of stagecoaches. It's not a Western per se because there's no gunfights, but it's back in that time. But thank you for enjoying my poem, for letting me know how it touched you and helped you, because I was blessed so much by each person that I got in contact with, of those thousands of links. And they were all over the world. So I've talked to, in some way or form, to people all over the world that have been blessed and healed or touched by the poem. And I'm thankful for how that does that. My mom always encouraged my writing, and I know that each time someone reads my poem and it helps their heart and their grief in some way, shape, or form, that she has a big, beautiful smile on her face, and that she's just beaming. So I pray that as you read this poem or other poems that I share, that the Lord will touch your heart and your soul and help heal those hurting places. That we all go through grief, and it's not really ever an end to it. It's just different stages. So don't be hard on yourself if you're still feeling the sharpness of that loss. And know that that person loved you and loves you, and that God loves you. So I hope you have a good day and many blessings. Bye-bye.